All right, let's talk about your spec here, starting with Ritualist. You're going to go with Explosive Growth. That adds a little bit of damage when you summon a spirit. So it's going to damage around that spirit, especially if you're in melee range. This is going to stack up really well. The reason we got this one is the others aren't really as good. Wandering Spirits, it teleports you before they perform their auto attack. Who cares? Like, you're not really traveling as much. You're going in and out of your shroud anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You're not a healer, so like healing is negligible, so nothing useful on the other two. On your second slot, you're gonna go with Spirit Strength. Summons creatures deal more damage and their healing is increased. The 20% damage increase is awesome. Similar to the other ones, nothing really worthwhile with the other two. One is a remove conditions and the other is a grant boons, which again, not really as useful there. And then for your third one, I think this is like the must-have as a DPS. It's Soul Twisting. Your first spirit skill will refresh immediately when you use it. The other two, again, not as useful. One is just weapon spells, remove conditions. You don't really have that much weapon spells. You don't really care too much about them. This one's decent, but having that refresh with spike damage is much more useful. Next up, you got Soul Reaping. From there, you get Unyielding Blast. Strauss 1 inflicts vulnerability. Reason being, the Soul Marks is not as useful because you don't have staff for marks. You could go with Speed of Shadows, but generally speaking, this is kind of like a bit range DPS, so you don't really need the removals there. But you are spamming Shroudskill, but you could switch it out. I go with Shroudskill, Unyielding Blast. For the second one, must have Soul Barbs increase damage by 10% when you go in and out of Shroud. So 10% on Shroud enter and 10% on exit. Really useful, especially if you can time it really well. The other two aren't as useful. Fear, you don't really have much. Actually, I don't think you have any fear. You have one fear from your spirit, not that useful. And then gain vitality, incoming healings increased. Again, I think the damage is a little bit more worthwhile. And then for your final one, Death Perception, critical damage increase, and critical chance increase while in Shroud. And similar to the other ones, the other two aren't as useful as well. And finally, this is the change we made. We used to run Blood here, but with the recent patch change where Blood Bank no longer working with Shroud, it's just not worthwhile. So you're gonna go with Death Magic. Flesh of the... I used to run Shroud removal prior to this, giving you Condi losses. But what I found was Flesh of the Master, the minion one, it creates a ton of life force as well. Not life force, creates a ton of carapace on spawn. Your whole combo when you have this will automatically proc you to 30. So it was really useful over Shroud removal. But if you want, you could run Shroud removal. I have recently, like I said, started running with Flesh of the Master. Really, really useful here. For your second one, Deadly Strength, it now grants power and Condi damage. Combined with this, when you go into your burst, you get 300 power and 300 Condi. That is huge. That is like a boatload of damage coming in. And again, the other ones aren't as useful here. And then finally, Corruptor's Fervor. Inflicting conditions on a foe grants carapace. Incoming condition damage is incoming damage reduced while at carapace threshold. So you get a nice little 15% damage reduction there. With your skills, you're going to be inflicting ton of Condis, and like I said, with Flesh of the Master combined with your skills, you'll meet your 25% or rather 25 carapace threshold really easily. All right, let's talk gear. Mostly you're going to be in Marauders, right? I have some Berserkers, but mostly it's going to be Marauders. For the your rune, I went with Deadeye for the power precision increase. It gives you enough to be around 65. That's where we're going to be, 65% crit chance here. decent number with about 220 crit damage. Again, decent numbers. For your 2 weapons, I went with Pistol Torch. This is your primary set. For the pistol, I did Sigil of Air. For the torch, I did Sigil of Strength. For the might increase, again, you're gonna crit enough times, you're gonna might stack here and get a ton of damage. Overall, you could go with something else like Flame for the blast damage, but I just thought Strength was a little bit stronger here. Disregard that it's a Celestial. If I had a Marauder one, I would have worn a Marauder one. For your other set, it is Sword Scepter. Again, Marauders as well. You could switch the Scepter out for a Warhorn. I just like Scepter because it has Spinal Shivers that does a ton of damage on kind of if anybody has boons, and everybody in this goddamn game has boons. That's why I went with Focus here. But if you don't want Focus, you could go with, like I said, Warhorn, which is I think a little bit better with the CCs. But definitely your sword, particularly your sword's kind of like your repositioning one with your skill 3. It gives you a 900 meter dash, and then your auto attack chills as well. So it's kind of like a anti-kite / kite skill. But overall, you're going to be camping in your pistol. For our Relic, we're going with Relic Claw. Deal increased strike damage after you disable a foe. You get a couple disables here. So you get your Vile Blast followed into Harrowing Wave. So Harrowing Wave is going to benefit from that stun, and then you also get the Oppressive Collapse stun into your main combo. So this pairs really well with your combo. All right, let's talk about your utility skills. For your healing one, I use Signet of Vampirism. I used to run Resilient Weapon. It wasn't bad, but I found that Signet of Vampirism makes you a little bit more tanky because you get a 5800 heal from the active one. You're also getting passive heal every 1 second or so, but that's negligible. But the big one is, especially when you're roaming, you put the Vampiric Mark. That siphons heals, and you see it's 25 stacks, and the active life siphon heal for it is 630. Do the math. 630 times 25, that is like a 15k heal throughout the life of 6 seconds. I mean, you're not going to get all vampiric marks there, but if you combine it with weeping shots and like your kind of full combo, you'll be able to heal up pretty well. Staying on theme for our kind of tankiness, the next one we pick up is Spectral Armor. It is a stun break, but very rarely do I actually use it as a stun break. What I'll pop it for is after I drain my life force, I'll pop that, and anytime I get attacked, I gain life force. So it acts essentially as a second heal of sorts by just buffering your life force there for Shroud. Next up is Nightmare Weapon. It just adds lifesteal for your attacks. So again, you are healing for about 625. You get five of them. So that is about like a 3k heal, 30k heal, 3k heal, give or take. If my math is right. And then Weapon of Warding. This is my stun break. You could swap any of these. Like you could swap this for Spectral Walk or Flesh Worm. I just, for my usage, this Weapon of Warding worked out best for me. And then finally, for your ultimate Zinray's weapon, which is also a stun break, it has this very unique thing. Honestly, in my opinion, it's very hard to kind of time this. Essentially, you got to predict when you're going to take a big hit, and you'll heal for it. I've historically used this as my stun break, but if you're a better player than I am, you could absolutely use this a lot better. The other ultimates are just not as good, and that's why I went with this one. All right, that's it. You know the details. Here's some clips of the build in action. Hope you guys enjoy.
Quando a noite vira meta eu não corro, eu causo. Meu passo vira atraso. Tua pose cai no grave, meu olhar fecha o ar no caso. Vem, chega mais perto, eu faço o mundo fica torto. Fala meu nome embaixo. Monstro na pista. Monstro na pista. Sobe essa voz. Monstro na pista. Monstro na pista. Monstro na pista. Sobe essa voz. Olho de ferro, passo pesado. Dormindo sente meu nome. Antes da curva eu já tô do lado. Sombra longa no cimento. Dente frio peito dentro. Se eu falo tu trava na hora. Meu som deixa o ar violento. Vem, chega mais perto. Eu faço o mundo fica torto.